Hello, this is me, Robert Gammon, and welcome to another video. Welcome to another video with me, Robert Gammon, on my channel. And today, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed folks, and all people of all persuasions, welcome to the studio, where old meets new. Dun dun dun. But here are some logic things I made. So I made some little contraption, little creations, LittleBigPlanet, and this here is one of those things. So this here is a traffic light, as you can probably tell. As you can tell, the traffic light is made up of British colours, not British colours, you know what I mean. The overhead in America and Canada, I think, but here in Britain they're like this, right? As you can see, the logic gate for this relies upon two types of, as you can probably see, I'll zoom into the TV to show you. These are magnetic key switches, and the green ones are sequentially placed so that as it moves forward, it'll give the right colors, and then the blue ones are placed where it will tell it when to shine. The idea of this is basically programming things in LittleBigPlanet. Magnetic key switches or tag sensors are used to program things. You can learn to program anything you want with them. And if you know what you're doing, you can create anything like God. Over here is a game I try to make. This here is the character. Over here is the background and the field of view, sort of the plane. So the emitter is producing these really thick white bits of wood, white planes. These are to create the kind of illusion of 3D. So basically, trees are supposed to emit, and the idea is that when the tree emits, if he touches the tree, it turns to planks. But then those planks will then grow more trees, and he touches them, they turn to planks. So you get the idea, it's like a cycle. So this is like the controller for that game. That's the jump. Very similar to the old Atari. Over here is a robotic arm. Again, this should be a thumb, but here, the top here is the logic for it is on the right, whereas the actual arm is on the left itself. As you can see, it's a little bit wonky, wobbly when I move the camera, but you understand. Anyway, the role of the arm is just to prove something. So basically, the wobble bolt that moves the upper arm is the first line of code. The second line of code moves the winch, which pulls the arm in, so it contracts. Which pulls, the muscles contract, they don't actually push, they pull. They just pull in opposing pairs, right? You know, if you know anything about anatomy and stuff like that, they pull in opposing pairs. Over here is the thumb. This here triggers the third line of code is a kind of if. So an if condition is if such and such is met, then it'll happen. If not, something else will happen. So that's kind of like the programming. It's very basic programming. Basically programming stuff. I did IT for a couple of years. Very difficult, but really good. So that one there programs it to move the thumb, which I tried to do in this game. Really complicated. So over here is one of the most complicated ones, the walking man. As you can see, yes, I've managed to make him with programming. He can sort of move his legs, but his arm, which is what he's got, is what's moving. His arm's moving in a similar way. So over here, the code is very complex. It's actually not. The top code here has A, so I've labeled it as A, B, C, D, and E, right? But A and B, just for argument's sake, controls the arms. Originally, he was going to stand up. Let's just say they were going to stand up on their own, on his own, right? But what happened is, they're not doing that. So he's not standing up on his own, right? But what happens is the arms will then move if the arms move, then the pistons for the second bit, because it's an and or, right? And both need to be working together to then trigger the line of code for the legs, the ball bolts in the legs to actually move the legs. The yellow switch you can see on the right here, so these here connected. So this one and this one here, they actually, if they're read by this sent tag, then the tag sensors activate and the legs move, hopefully. But these push forward to that, and then that sets the legs off. This here is what moves the legs. So not this here activates the leg movement, and this one keeps moving back and forth the legs, whereas this one moves the arm up. This one is the wave of the arm, right? So basically you can control anything using code in LittleBigPlanet. Here I've used readers to create patterns. This here is a little more complex. Basically, here is a set of tags it reads, and it reads them based on their size, and based on how you place them, they will correspondingly be placed in the game. Yeah, I'm having a hard time holding the camera up. Here it is. Here, of course, is the result of that. It's not bad, is it? As you can see, it's a bit big, but the point is that it's basically these discs. The tag sensors read the tags. It's like a disc, and will then set off the lights in the corresponding pattern. So it starts with 1, then 2, and then 4. So it goes up in 2s, right? Double each time. So kind of like binary, but... And then that's it.